When you picture the Persian Gulf, what's the first thing that comes to mind? For most of us, it's those vast, sweeping deserts, the incredible futuristic skylines, and of course, all that oil wealth. It's a story we all feel like we know pretty well.
But what if I told you the most important stories from this region aren't really about the oil at all? Today, we're going to dig past the headlines, go a little deeper, and uncover some hidden truths about the resources that truly shape this land. And we're starting with one you might not expect.
So that brings us to our first big story. And no, it's not about the black gold that powers our cars. It's about that clear liquid that gives life itself. It's about water. I mean, think about it. In one of the driest places on Earth, water is the ultimate treasure. It's the one thing that decides everything, where cities can be built, where life can actually thrive. Now, the native plants, they're smart. They've adapted. They go into this kind of dry sleep and just wait for those rare rainstorms to wake them up. But for modern agriculture, yeah, that's a whole different ballgame.
And this is where we find our first hidden truth. And it's a real mind-bender. It's a stunning paradox. The very act of using this precious water to bring life to the desert can actually end up destroying the land it's supposed to be saving.
Okay, so here's how this destructive cycle works. It all starts with good intentions, right? You add irrigation water to the soil. But under that intense desert sun, the water evaporates incredibly fast. This creates this powerful upward pull, almost like a straw, sucking salty groundwater right up to the surface. And when all that water is gone, all that's left is a salt, forming this sterile white crust where absolutely nothing can grow.
You can see the stark contrast here. The goal, the intention, is to make the desert bloom, but the unintended result is poisoned, totally infertile soil. It's a classic ecological trap, where the solution actually becomes the problem.
But, people are clever. Farmers are fighting back with some really smart techniques. They use fertilizers with less salt to begin with. They use this hyper-efficient drip irrigation that gets water straight to the plant's roots, so less of it evaporates. And they even do this cool thing where they plant crops in layers, so taller plants provide shade for the smaller ones below, which helps keep the soil cool and cuts down on that deadly evaporation.
Now, this whole struggle over resources, it leads us perfectly into our next hidden truth. We're going to shift gears from the immediate challenge of water to the really, really ancient origins of the region's famous wealth, oil.
Get ready for this, because it's a wild fact. Every single time you fill up your car, or use your phone, or even sit on a plastic chair, you're interacting with the fossilized remains of tiny, microscopic plankton that died millions and millions of years ago. It's truly an epic journey. It starts with all that dead plankton sinking to the bottom of the sea, mixing with sand and clay to form what geologists call a mother rock. Then, over millions of years, more and more layers of sediment pile on top, pushing it deeper and deeper. And down at about 1,500 to 3,000 meters, the intense heat and pressure literally cook that organic mush, transforming it into crude oil. From there, it slowly works its way up until it gets trapped in a pocket, just waiting for us to find it.
And when that oil gets pumped out and sold on the world market, the money it generates is called petrodollars. It's a pretty simple name, really. It's just because oil is traded globally in US dollars. But the impact of those petrodollars? Whoa, it is anything but simple. Those petrodollars fueled one of the most rapid economic transformations in all of human history. We're talking about a massive construction boom that built modern airports, highways, and seaports, seemingly overnight. They built up entire industries and, maybe most importantly, developed world-class services in things like medicine, education, and banking, all from the ground up. And this incredible boom, this engine of wealth, brings us to our third and final hidden truth. Because to pull all this off, you need more than just money. You need a completely different kind of fuel. Seriously, just think about it for a second. You've got all the money in the world to build a city. But who actually lays the bricks? Who paves the roads? Who runs the new hospitals and banks? The answer is millions of people. A gigantic, multinational workforce was needed to physically build and then operate these brand new economies. The scale of it was something the world had rarely seen before.
These people are often called guest workers. They're foreign employees who come to the Persian Gulf to work in literally every sector you can imagine, from construction and hospitality to finance and healthcare. But here's the truly staggering part. In some of these nations, guest workers actually make up the majority of the entire population. They're not just part of the economy. They are the bedrock of daily life.
So, the next time you see pictures of those incredible, glittering skylines, remember this. They weren't just built with oil money and concrete. They are standing on a massive foundation of human effort, a global workforce drawn from every corner of the planet.
And that, right there, is how these three stories that seem so different, a story of water, a story of ancient plankton, and a story of modern human migration, all weave together into one incredible tapestry.
So, let's recap the hidden connections we've uncovered today. We've seen how life-giving water can paradoxically poison the land. We've learned that our entire modern world is, in a way, powered by the ghosts of ancient sea creatures. And we've discovered that immense national wealth is fundamentally built by a global human workforce.
And that really just leaves us with one last thought to chew on. If something as basic as water and oil can hold such deep, complex, and frankly surprising stories, what other hidden cycles and unseen connections are shaping the world right outside your own front door?